That's El Pucci.
That was it!
That's Kevin Larkin.
Everybody get over there, get over there!
And here's somebody who doesn't live here. Here's somebody else who doesn't live here.
Come here!
They've seen the camera, and now they're gonna go hide. Sure does cut down on the noise. The time is 6:54 p.m. It is on April 18th, 1993, Sunday, and it's a beautiful day, and that's Walsh.
Because I don't think you really have a right to take us without our consent.
She does, she does.
How do you figure that?
My dad said so. Because my
Hi,
dad...
Ma! Saying that, there's no reason for that.
Jamie! 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 Jamie!
I'll rep this, I'll rep it.
Jamie! Jamie!
Go!
1886!
What's me?
Let's see, there's about 6 of them. And this has been going on for an hour. Otherwise, it would be a beautiful day.
Give it to me! Oh,
I see no reason why 4 black kids should ruin
Jamie, I was wide open.
the homes of 17 families.
No! Garbage, man, travel. No, hey, travel. It would be a stop, but we're allowing stuff. Yo, yo! Oh!
Up and down! Up and down!
You stuck the... I let go of the ball anyway.
No, up and down!
Isn't this nice? Listen to this all day.
I let go
That
of the
was an
ball
up and down!
Now this one, El Pucci,
Take it over!
was out in the field this afternoon with a rifle.
I let go of the ball and the ball. You touched the ball.
Okay, fine. Fine. 18. I mean, 18. You're crazy.
Right.
Well, it never happened still. After this was me and Fernando first, you three.
Unnecessary stupidness. Give him a ball. Yo!
Next one, Kevin.
Okay, fade. Time was just before 7 p.m. April 18th, 1993, Sunday.
No foul.
That's interesting. One boy says, you don't have a right to take us without our consent. And the little Larkin kid says, yes, she does. Window.
Compliment. Right there, compliment.
Yeah.
How would you like to listen to this for an hour? Every day. And more than an hour. Maybe up to 3 hours. Okay, now I'm going to take a picture of it. Andrew is one name. Kevin. Kevin's brother.
That was a foul. Come on.
There's Walsh. There's El Pucci.
Foul. That's foul.
There's somebody who doesn't live here. It's Walsh. Okay, what is the date? I just called John Porzio and told him that nothing's any different. The noise is back. 4:22 p.m. on April 20th, 1993, Tuesday. 4 kids should ruin the residence of 17 families.
Hey, you! Whoa! Whoa!
This is Kevin Larkin. Where he lived. I think the landlord told everybody today that this was not going to be an area where they could play. The window last winter playing hockey. Right after Christmas he had a helmet and these skates and a hockey stick and a puck, and he drove it through the window. It was a ball, a hard ball. He drove it through the cellar window. I think so. Because he was shouting, "Mom, that woman's videotaping me." She asked me where I lived and what my name was, and I wouldn't tell her. Okay, let's close this out.
He may have been just doing that for effect, because I couldn't see anybody down that way.
Oh.
And he didn't talk very loud.
Okay, thanks. Time is 5:32 p.m. The date is April the 21st, 1993. We have forsythia, we have daffodils, we have violets, and we have beautiful magnolias. We come into our parking space. We're assaulted by alpuchis. The date is April the 22nd, 1993, and it's Thursday. Fade. Wednesday.
Case.
Okay, that is Roberta Walsh, and that's Candy Alpucci. And the son is the younger son. And the other one was Jamie Walsh.
Whistle wing.
And the time is... what time is it, please? 1993, I'm in the cellar at 21 Greenridge. I would like to have you see my rugs that have been taken off of the cellar floor and put in the trash can. The suspect here is Candy Alpucci. I'm going to go over and take these rugs out so that you can see them. The rugs. And in doing this, this suspect deprived the rest of the tenants the use of the trash barrel. This is a brand new rug. Of ours. And that's it. Now these rugs were taken from the area in front of our locker where we had the rugs and put in here. Okay, now let's count the rugs. It's one big one, great big one, and then the little companion rug, and then 3, 4, and 5. It's May the 7th, 1993, Friday. As you know, the time is 6 p.m. Okay, you just should have heard what Waltz let out with. At 6:15 p.m. Friday, came up blowing his horn.
outside, will you?
and he was vile.
Bubble butt bastard.
Okay, good.
She calls our kids a brat. Goddamn lunatic.
Okay, this is Walsh, Daniel Walsh.
You're gonna intimidate us.
And it's May the 7th, 1993, Friday. This is Daniel
Pulling down
Walsh.
on your ass like you did in all your other places.
Daniel Walsh.
The door doesn't like confrontation.
Daniel Walsh.
He's writing in the police about our kids playing.
Okay, that's Daniel Walsh's car.
You're
May
a
7th.
sicko. You're a sick woman.
That's,
Sick woman.
that's Roberta Walsh. May the 7th, 1993, Friday. Time is about 6:10 p.m.
She's gonna rule the day.
I'll get you affected, you bitch.
That's Roberta Walsh.
Get away from the window and stop bothering people.
Roberta Walsh. May the 7th, 1993, and that's James Walsh.
Okay, you can play there. You can do what you want.
I know. Free country.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Well, like, I have to wait till later. I just got home. Yeah, I just got home. I was at my
Saturday. And the time is, just a second, 9:45 a.m. 2 minutes ago, I was picking up the litter that irresponsible people strew about the public property and the private property. And I was picking up a cigarette butt, a Salem cigarette butt. And Mrs. Walsh, Roberta Walsh, called from her window upstairs saying, "Oh, leave alone, idiot." Date is May the 8th, 1993. Franklin was washing the car and she accosted him, and we have not spoken to her and he is not speaking to her. She just came out of the blue. She just came out of the blue and did this.
She's taping me and I'm taping her.
It's just one accost after another.
My son is going to play here.
Okay, this is her son, James Walsh. Okay, let me give you an exact time on that. 2:16 p.m. It is now. It's about 2 minutes later. The son is refusing to play ball, and she's egging him on to play ball. At 1:55 p.m., this man drove under our southeast bedroom window and blew the horn. And the other two Apulchi boys are around. That was Daniel Walsh, and that was at 3:05 p.m. And that was May the 11th, 1993, Tuesday. And he said, "Hey, thanks for the letter. And thanks for name and name."
I appreciate that, Fatty. And we were sitting in our bedroom, and he did this through the open window. Not only do you get accosted if you go outside, but sitting in your own home, you get accosted.
They have these great bursts of noise, and then they run off. When I see the camera, Greenridge Avenue. This is 21 Greenridge Avenue. This is the entrance to apartment 2A. And this little kitty is Ginny Cat. And as you come into the door, to the right is the kitchen. The kitchen looks to the west. And in the afternoon, you really see some nice bright sunshine. This is a superb range. This is a great big Magic Chef. And this is a great big hot point. That's a hot cat. Here's a closet here in the hallway. And this is the living room. That's the window that looks to the east. And that's the window through which the older Al Pucci looks every time he walks by. And these windows face to the west. Excuse me, this window faces to the south. This window faces to the south, and that's where the older Al Pucci looks every time he goes by, the older son. In the afternoon, these windows are just full of cheer and light from the west. It's really a beautiful exposure. Now I'm going to take you to the, this is the hallway. And this is, this room is, this part is facing north. This part, of course, is facing east to the courtyard. I'll take you outside later, and you can see the courtyard. This is the CompuTemp, which gives the time and the outdoor temperature and the indoor temperature. And it also has a memory, and it'll tell you what was the lowest temperature during the day and what was the highest temperature during the day. These are some of Franklin's trophies and accolades as a reporter for the Buffalo News for 27 years and 10 years before that for the Springfield, Massachusetts Union. This is a gift from CBS TV when Glendora was on the CBS television network on Family Feud 10 times during Christmas and New Year's of 1992. What's in these boxes majorly are videotapes, commercial videotapes, 1-inch videotapes, 2-inch videotapes, 3/4-inch videotapes, 1/2-inch videotapes. And now I'm going to show you the bathroom. The bathroom looks to the east. And it is through these eastern windows and the southern windows that all the noise comes. And I'll show you the courtyard out there so you can see where the noises come. This is our bathtub, which was just reglazed. Nice shiny new. And also the sink. Now I'll take you to the last room. This is a southern exposure right here, out to the field. The field is beautiful. The field is more like a woods now that spring has come. Glendora is just on this TV set on the NBC television network, coast to coast. They're doing a commercial for Glendora TV ads. You're looking here to the south. And a lot of noise comes from the south right there because Mrs. Apulchi parks her car right next to the house so that it touches, and when the car starts, it's noisy and it makes a lot of vibration. Here's a closet, here's another closet, and here's the money on the wall. And now I'm going to take you out this door, and we're going outside. This goes to the second floor. There's an apartment over there, and there's an apartment here, and this is the apartment across the hall, A1, or 1A. And that's Jenny Cat, headed for outdoors. This is to the cellar. It's really a terrific place to live. You're looking north on Greenridge. And that's the Swank condominium across the street. This is Caesar's car, and Caesar's the greatest painter there is. I'm not too sure whether he's Caesar Julius, Augustus, or Octavius. But here's the field I told you about. It's more like a woods. This once obviously was a very expensive estate. You can see by this rock wall. Now you're looking east. This is building A that you were in. The building that you're looking at right now is building D. And this is building C. Excuse me, B. This is building B, and over here is building C. This is where the El Pucci car goes, right up against the wall, and the one that we hear because the car touches the house. This is a disabled vehicle and an unregistered vehicle, and it is parking here. That really isn't right, because there's just exactly the right number of parking spaces for 16 units. Take a look at this azalea bush. The day is May 14th, 1993, Friday. The second floor apartment right there is where the El Puccis live, and the farther apartment right here is where the Walshes live, and they quite often talk window to window. Take a look at the field. This is the field that Franklin and I took 85 bags of litter out of, 85 grocery bags of litter. It took 2 weeks. It took 30 hours. And we did it before the greenery came, so that we wouldn't kill the plants. And that, of course, is little Katie Cat. Yeah. Oh, she's so glad to see you. Hello, little Katie Cat. Now I'm going to take you along the driveway. And over the courtyard and through the sala. You're going to get another look at this azalea bush. And now we're going to enter building A through the cellar from the outside. This is the area that we had to put 600 watts of light on that you couldn't see. Those windows look to the west. That window looks to the east, no, south, excuse me. And this is the laundry area. Now we'll enter. Apartment where we exited. And here are the two kitties. Time is approximately 11:45 a.m. on Friday, May the 14th, 1993. One beautiful, perfect day of weather. Thursday. Sort of like the South Bronx, isn't it?
Mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all?
That's Candy Pucci. She's in the red sweatshirt. And that's Roberta Welch, the one in the green sweatshirt.
Jamie, is Daddy home?
And this is how it goes. The rowdy noise is not abated. It's still kept up by the Walshes and the Alpuccis. So we just let the camcorder run. Candy Alpucci saying, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" At 5:19 p.m., she said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Me, Glendora," is what she said. And then she laughed in that rather sick way of hers.
Go Ozzy. Aunt Gail. Mrs. Walsh. Who's a suspect in... Don't do it, Oz. Don't do it, Oz.
Her ball up against our wall.
Do you have a problem?
Ball hit another car.
Got cat shit on us. Hey, Aunt Gail, can you come down here, please? Jesus Christ.
And the ball hits a third car.
Yeah, hit the car and got
The older Alpucci. It's 5 o'clock,
more times.
and it's May 15th, 1993, Saturday.
Shit's harassment there, huh?
We have a record.
Go ahead and get safe, man. Go ahead. Go get safe, man. Hold in front of her. Hi. How you doing?
consciously and designedly hit the wall with a ball. And they put a trowel on our windowsill. Time is 5:08
The time is 5
p.m.
o'clock, right? Is that right?
And the day is May 15, 1993, Saturday.
Wait till my dad gets there on you, man. You're gonna set that shit off on her, too.
It's a nice talking boy. Has a good vocabulary.
Yeah, I wish I would, too. I really wish I could. Shall we go in? Go in where? Where we going? Yeah. I ain't going upstairs, man. I'm gonna sit here and bother her this day. She's been bothering me. Can't do that. Can't do that.
This is his guest, an outsider. And he was just banging on our wall.
seats.
No, you know what we say? Third base side. You know the second deck up? Where the cover is? Right there in the front row. Four seats I got. Front row. Got them already? I got them from some gave me tickets for today. Give some pockets.
Nicholas! Let's go!
Stick that camera up your ass. Come on. Psychopath.
You saw her?
Right here, look. Sit. Nuts.
God damn it.
That's the older El Pucci boy.
She got nothing to do with that part.
What's the time? The time is 6:34 p.m. And what's the date? 5/15/93 Saturday. This has been going on since 4:30 p.m. Anything that they're doing can be done any place. And yet, this one family, there's two families right now, it's Al Pucci and Larkin, have spoiled the complex for 13 other families. The Indian boy is an outsider. One next to him is Kevin Larkin. The one next to him is the younger Al Pucci. The one next to the younger Al Pucci is Kevin Larkin. And then there's the little boy who's an outsider and the Indian boy who's an outsider.
All right, come on, play ball.
Isn't that nice? And I think that breaks the penal code, section 240.20, disorderly conduct.
I was talking to Glenn Drake, and while I was on the phone, they all went by the window out to the front. And when I looked, Dick Young was getting into his car. So he must have said something to them. They'd been noisy, as I say, for nearly an hour. And he must have said something to them because they went out to the front, and then they played in the front on the lawn until 5 o'clock. They came back here. And they've come and gone since then. One time there were only 2 or 3, and then it built up again. And they were never as noisy as they were earlier. But they did come back here at 5 o'clock, and it's now, what, 5:20 or so.
You say there were 7 of them?
7, yeah. There was Walsh and the younger Pucci, and 2 Larkins, and 3 outsiders.
Well, the older El Pucci's out there now.
He's out there now, yeah.
And now they're playing on the front lawn. And when I came in the door, they threw the ball at me.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. That would be at 5:20 p.m.
Yeah, now I think they've all left.
Into our entrance, who is an outsider, is the Indian boy. 5 hours on that Saturday, April the 24th. Continued unabated, and here is a report and also a call to John Porzio, the owner. Again, this is April 24th, 1993, Saturday.
Boys, the time is 5:02 p.m. The racket's going on for 2¼ hours. This is Saturday, April 24th, 1993. There's also a videotape of this where we got the 2 El Puccis playing basketball where the landlord said, don't play basketball there. John Puzio, bringing a message on his recorder. John Porzio, this is Glendora, and the time is 5:04 p.m. On Saturday, April 24th. And the older Al Pucci boy, the one who put the hockey ball through the window, the cellar window, and the younger Al Pucci boy, and an interloper who doesn't live here, have been playing ball right in the area where you told them not to play ball. They've opposite wall, not our wall. It's been going on for 2 hours and a quarter since 2:45 p.m. This is in total defiance of your expressed will or wish or demand or whatever not to do this. It's in defiance of you, it's in defiance of your parents. The time to begin is 5:05 p.m., April 24th, 1993, Wednesday. 949-9495. Bye-bye. All right, what's the front door? No, it's called a parking lot.
He's been
And that's the Indian boy. So right here is the Indian boy.
Ready, guys? Ready? Ready? Let's make it better. Come on.
Yeah,
What? Scott, you ready? Yeah.
everybody, Star Spangled Banner. Star Spangled Banner. Yeah.
You're very patriotic. Oh, this is 4.5-year-old black boy's brother. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, say, can you see by the dark light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming. Then the rocket's red glare, stop! The bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
See younger Al
Say
Poochie.
does
That's the
that
black boy.
star-spangled banner
That's Brian Larkin.
What, Glenn?
That's the older Al Poochie. That's the Indian boy.
And the whole cloud of
Play ball!
Let's play ball.
Come on, let's play ball, guys. No, come on, get in.
You can watch.
And taunting. And what time was that? That was 5:16 p.m. 5:36 p.m. June 2nd, 1993, Tuesday. Videotaping was good for me because it helped slim my hips. "6:05 p.m., June the 2nd, 1993. I was sitting at my desk telephoning. Daniel Waltz went by. Roberta Waltz went by. And she says, yoo-hoo, yoo-hoo, idiot. And she just went by again, this time to the west. First time was to the east, saying, yoo-hoo, yoo-hoo. Daniel Waltz has passed 3 times in the past 5 minutes by my window, but he hasn't looked.
When it should have been turned off. There's a gap in here to record on, but it's a very brief gap, and whatever you do not erase Reuben Mark, who is the CEO of Colgate-Palmolive. 8:04 p.m. Good evening, 9495. That is number 6, 8:04 p.m., June 2nd, 1993. Tuesday. Wednesday. Hello? Hello? That was another silence call at 8:33 p.m. on Tuesday, June 2nd. Good morning, 9495. That's the first call of the day, 8:31 a.m. And the time is, the date is 6/3/93/30. Yes, birthday. Silence and hang up. And put down the time. Okay, so this recorder is queued up. Good morning, 9495. Thank you. You're welcome. Bye-bye. Bye. a.m. Good morning, 9495. 9:09 a.m. on June the 3rd, 1993, Thursday, call recorded. On June the 3rd, 1993, Thursday, call recorded. Good afternoon, 9495. The time is 11:56 a.m. Today is June 3rd, 1993, Thursday. Good afternoon, 9495.
Glendora,
Yeah.
this old friend of yours, Mel Chalk, you remember him?
Oh, hi, Mel. How are you? Today is 1:09 p.m., June 8th, 1993, Tuesday. Right there.
You knew what? Yeah? You need a new lot?
Correct.
What was the problem?
Full of crazy glue.
Crazy glue?
That's correct.
Alright. So, put one on, okay?
Very good.
Alright.
Thank you, John.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll talk to you again.
I'll be right back.
He said he'd be right back, John. Time was 2:08 p.m. That's a lot. That's John City Court. City Court. Is Kathy Ritchie there?
I can tell you this is not an agent of CPS and is not in any way affiliated with something or the search there. Indeed, we are presently in the midst of a lawsuit with them. Finally, the Lord's use of CPS eyes without authorization is in violation of CPS rights with respect to employees. This is from ABC. I'm waiting for ABC to respond. Please be advised that your lawyer is not an employee of Capital City ABC Incorporated or any related entities, including American Brothers Gas Company, Inc., or WABCCP. In addition, we have sent the Lord several letters in the past asking her to cease using the ABC logo and to stop representing yourself as an ABC employee. Well, I'll tell you when the next one comes in. I'll have copies of these made too, okay? Okay, nothing like sending them out to mail. You know what I mean? Okay, see you later. I'm going to also give him another call.
Okay, you heard all that. That was Daniel Walsh. He certainly wanted you to hear all that. The time is 2:50 p.m. and the date is June the 10th, 1993, Thursday. This happened somewhere between after 2 p.m. yesterday. Friday, June the 11th, 1993. Did you see this geranium plant? It was either stepped on or pulled up. This geranium plant was left intact. This geranium plant was all right. And this one was all right. And this patience plant was all right. These are the wild plants that were pulled up or broken. There are 3 of those. And then over here, there are 2 patience plants. You can see that one there, lying on its side. And then there's another one. The 16th, 1993, Wednesday. And I don't have a doormat. And there's my doormat. Looks to me like my doormat has been kicked. This is June the 16th, 1993, Wednesday. Time is 10:37 a.m. My doormat has been kicked from the front of my door down to here. So we'll return it. This is the same warning that the summer was all vandalized. This is Kevin Larkin and the black boy and the third boy, and it's 5:14 p.m. and it's June 16th, 1993, Wednesday.
Everybody has TAP. Everyone plays PPS. Go. No. No, Andy just purposely moved like that. Hell no. You did that to me. Oh, man. That was on my side. Put. Who cares about it? Yeah, me. Please, it's me. Yes, I'm here with my black friend and the intruder. I'm the intruder. Everybody say hello. That's...
That's James Walsh. That's Kevin Larkin. That's 5:26 p.m. June 16th, 1993, Wednesday. Just 2 minutes ago, the old El Pucci threw the ball at our window. He's the great window breaker anyway. He's the one who broke the window with a hockey puck. Andrew. Andrew. Who is Andrew? James Walsh.
Andrew wear hats like this. I know. Oh, no, it's my voice. I got another.
What's up, dude?
Let's sing the national anthem again.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I got him out,
And now I can see the time is 7:22 p.m. and the date is 6:22 p.m. Tuesday, second day of summer. This is in violation of the White Plains noise ordinance. Brian
No,
Larkin
there isn't. Who says?
and Kevin Larkin.
I know you like it.
And the black one and the Mexican boy.
4'9".
The little school. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The time is 5:05 p.m. The date is June 23rd, 1993, Wednesday.
I'm a troublemaker. You see? We broke his arm because he was being a bad leader. Yeah, see? That's what we did. No, it was cool. No.
All right, if I get a complaint, I gotta come here.
If I knock on her door and she complains, I know you're gonna come here.
I don't have a choice.
Because if I knock on her door, I'm really gonna blast her one.
All right, well then you go to jail, all right?
For what?
For blasting.
For bad mouthing her? I'm gonna get arrested for that? No, I wouldn't do that. She's not worth it.
Oh, dude.
You know it's a problem. She don't have a life.
Hi. Hello.
There she is. You get taped. You're gonna be on camera.
She's an idiot. She's a moron. She needs a good dick up her ass. Fuck her. Fucking mental case. I'm not gonna do this until your mother comes home. She needs a good piece of ass. That's because she got no kids. She probably can't have any. That's what's her problem.
Miss Franklin wasted.
You guys go finish playing. I'll barbecue after.
All right.
Let's go finish
Yeah,
the chat.
she's
Who
nice
is it?
dick up
Andrew?
her
Who
ass.
is it?
No. If you had kids of your own, you wouldn't be doing this. Maybe you can't have any.
You want to give her the time then, Gil? It's like 4:50.
Now, I think that must be Candy El Pucci's sister. They certainly had the same mouth. That's Brian Larkin. He lives over there. 1C. Now, what time was this? 5:22 p.m. What day was it? June 23rd, 1993, Wednesday.
I would videotape her plus things.
Well, they're going this way. Oh, boy. Now, how are we going to get this out of this side? Take the TV set first, okay? Take it.
Friday morning, Joe. Hi, it says stay.
That was assault, and that was Roberta Walsh, and I'll call the police tomorrow.
What's she saying?
You know, all the troubles that Candy Alpucci and Ferdinand Alpucci caused.
You should be put away. Time is 5:55 p.m. He's not bad. Date is June 23rd, 1993. And this is apparently your sister. And this is apparently us. Okay, I'll go around. Come back. I feel sorry for him because he's going to deal with her. He's going to be just as twisted to be married to this lunatic woman. That's what you are. Is a lunatic, demented, twisted, fucking son of a bitch. That's what you are. You know that? And you're lucky, you're very lucky that you're an old hag. You're lucky that you're an old woman. You know what your problem is? You're upset you never had children. God has denied you children. You know why? Because you're an evil, evil woman. You're an evil woman. God punished you. You don't deserve any. This is why, go ahead. You know what you could do with this thing? You could stick it up your vagina. That's what you could do with it. And douche yourself with it. Now, I need something today. Trick or treating? Trick or treat? This is Roberta Walsh. Yeah, shut up. Roberta Walsh. Both of you. Roberta Walsh. Roberta Walsh, 6 p.m. June 23rd, 1993, Wednesday. What's the problem?
Well, I think that it ought to be reported.
Where are you calling me from?
21 Green Ridge Avenue.
What apartment?
I'm in apartment 2A. She's in apartment 3A.
That's Roberta?
Walsh. Her name is Walsh. W-A-L-S-H.
Your name, please?
Is Mrs. Buell. B-U-E-L-L. And she's home now.
Okay, why don't you tell me one more time what happened, Mrs. Buell?
Okay, well, we came home, and there was the chair from down cellar was in front of our door.
You came home together?
My husband and I, excuse me. My husband, Mr. Buell, and I came home.
Yep.
And a chair from down cellar was in front of our door, so I videotaped it. And as I did that, they started taunting me, and I was at my front door, and they started coming up the stairs, and I videotaped their taunting.
Okay, let me
At that point, she put her hand...
take your telephone number down.
Sure. She put her hand over the lens of my
expensive camera.
Is your camera damaged in any way?
Well, I haven't had an opportunity to determine that. I'd have to have daylight to do that.
Okay.
Okay, what's my number? 949.
Huh?
9495.
9495. And you're in apartment 2A, correct?
Yes, officer.
Okay, I'm going to have an officer come over and speak to you.
Oh, good. And your name is what, officer?
L-E-E.
L-E-E, Officer Lee.
That's correct.
Thank you, Officer Lee.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Bye. Okay, this is the water in the cellar, and this is after a light rain. Now, when we have a medium rain, there's twice as much water as what you see here. And then when we have a heavy rain, there's 3 times as much water that you see here. And this is the sump pump that doesn't work anymore. And it has to have the drain, the steel drain put over it, because as the building inspector said, he weighs 250 pounds, and if he stepped on that board, he'd go right into that hole. And this drain has to have a steel grid. This is a makeshift drain, and the building inspector wants a steel grid over it. I want to show you how much water there is. I'm going to look up this drum. Franco, you hold the camera. I'm going to look up the run. Can you draw back, Frank? Can you zoom out? So let me put this somewhere where it's green. Here, right over here. Okay, we'll let that drain. Now, over here, can you see this? Considerable puddle. Considerable puddle. Now, in this door. And there's usually a much larger puddle right here. When you have the medium rain, you will see a big puddle here. It goes along this wall. You can see the dirt from the other. And this drain doesn't work at all. And here's where it clogs up. And of course, this mat gets very wet too. Okay, now coming down here, this is just a medium rain, but it's a deep puddle. And there's another puddle down there, and now you can see the junk that the landlord, Porzio, allows to be in the cellar when it should be stored in people's locker. I'll change the light and give you a better shot of that, as they always were. They're just terrific. Then you better walk with it there. See, this bicycle should be, I believe it belongs to apartment, the 2 boys in apartment B3. They have lockers. Those bicycles should be there. I believe the air conditioners belong to the boys in 3C. They have lockers. That's where those bicycles should be. Hi there, folks. How are you? This is landlord tenant.
This is a very, very big topic on the Chat with Glendora, greedy landlords and you tenants. It looks like we have one temporarily, that Bruno has slowed down his push, apparently because the people went up to Albany and rallied free speech and let the legislators know that there's just so much people will take. So Bruno has backed off on rent decontrol. Hooray! This is the fight that's going on with John Porzio, who is another greedy landlord. There are several other volumes, but these are the most recent volumes. And I told you that I stayed up on Thursday night. I got up at 3 a.m. and I wrote a notice of motion to dismiss the petition. And it paid off. The first grounds for dismissing the petition is that no in personam jurisdiction. Two men named Patrick Rudo and Wayne Cheatham lied, committed perjury, and filed 4 false affidavits. And I immediately went to the district attorney of the county of Westchester, and I said I wanted these people prosecuted, arrested, fined, and jailed. I cannot stand people who willfully, knowingly, and intentionally violate our standards of ethics. Right? Lie? No, we cannot have that. Plus abusing the court process, which all adds up to abusing America. So as you know, Assistant District Attorney Frank Carroll interviewed Franklin and me on April the 11th for 2 hours. And Cheatham, a great name, right? C-H-E-A-T-E-M. He claimed that he handed me personally a notice of petition and a petition, and that I accepted substitute service for Franklin here in this house on April the 8th. And I was in Long Island editing at Hicksville. And so Mr. Bob Jackman has been out to, or has called Hicksville, and he has the verifications of course, Dominic and Diane and Dr. Carley and Pat Golino and James Randolph that I was there. Oh boy, well I hope we've got them. I hope they land up in jail. Okay, so the results and the fruits of that motion to dismiss. Second reason it should be dismissed, but I didn't get into that with the court. The first was powerful enough, was that Porzio states no claim upon which relief can be granted. And then there's a whole lot of other ones. All right, quickly, we went to court on Friday, April the 21st. Is that right? No, April the 18th. Friday, April the 18th, of the City Court of the City of White Plains, before Judge Holden, John F. Holden, Jr. And Frank DiNicola, who is a very interesting person, a very likable person, and a person I respect. I met him from going to the court so much and monitoring the judges and all those things. He does work for lawyers. He does service. He does digging up witnesses. He does a whole lot of work for lawyers, billing them, the people, and he does a lot of good things, and he has his own business. And so he was good enough to consent to be my witness. Folks, don't ever go to court without a witness. So he was, particularly in this case, where they have a court stenographer, in no way in the world can I afford a court stenographer's record. This whole system has to be done away with, court stenographers. And where I asked to audio tape it, and it was not granted. So you got to have a witness in court. And so we were called at 9 o'clock And Frank DiNicola, when he found out who Porzio's lawyer is, Mr. Lehrman, and he's an acidic. And Mr. DiNicola handed Mr. Lehrman the notice of motion. And Judge Holden said, "Counsel, could we please have your attention?" And Mr. Lehrman says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I've just been handed a notice of motion." So right away, Judge Holden says, "Your adjournment date?" And Glendora said, "I am Glendora, I'm the respondent in this action, and I am appearing pro se, and I wish to make a motion to dismiss this action in its entirety." And so Mr. Lehrman protested the adjournment. He says, "No," he says, "let me see what her argument is." And he went over to the jury box, and he sat down and he read it. And I watched him quite intently all the time, enjoying my conversation with Frank DiNicola. And Mr. Lehrman said to Judge Holden, "Can I have a second call?" And Judge Holden says, "It'll be a long second call." He says, "Because I have a lot of things to do." There were a lot of things in the people in the courtroom. And so about 9:30 we were called again. When I said that the court did not have in personam jurisdiction over me, Judge Holden says, "Well, you're here." And I says, "I'm here only to stop a default judgment. But I have not been served." And so I think my point is sound and safe there. And then when we came back, Mr. Lehrman apparently felt the punch of the motion to dismiss in all of its 40 counts and knew that he had to answer it. And so he went into dates that I couldn't make, like April 28th, Monday, which is a hearing before the United States Magistrate Judge Joan Azrak in the Eastern District of New York in Brooklyn. And so just all these dates and everything. So finally he went backwards up to the 25th, and I said, "But I want an opportunity for a reply, affirmation to his opposition." And so it was settled that on April the 25th, Glendora would have that opposition from Lehrman in her hands, and that she would answer it, and that we would come to court on May the 2nd. At first I suggested May the 1st, and then I held myself because that's my birthday, and that's no place to be on your birthday. So May the 2nd, Judge Holden says May the 2nd. So that motion to dismiss, folks, stopped everything. It just stopped everything. And so May the 2nd, we go to court, and we fight it out. But it's nothing but lies in the petition. It's nothing but lies in the notice of termination. It's retaliation, which is against the law. A landlord cannot retaliate against a tenant. It's harassment to move. That's against the law, the real property law. And let me tell you the other law, because I'm sure that many of you have been bruised and battered and bullied by this same type of landlord. Let me tell you the other law that you got to know. That's the Real Property Actions and Proceedings law. Both of these laws, of course, are New York statutes. And this is how reading the New York statutes has really helped me. And you know something, folks? I only have 2 shelves left. I've read something like 7 shelves of the New York statutes. And of course, I'm just up to the real property law and up to the Real Property Actions and Proceedings law, Section 700. So you have to take the offensive even though you're on the defensive, and you have to put up a good offense, and you have to put up a good defense, and that's a motion to dismiss. And done correctly, that's extremely powerful. All right, we will have to continue this. I believe this ends the White Plains edition for the week of April the 14th, 1997, Anno Domini. And now the rest of this is going to be on another cable TV company, and you may not be able to hear it or see it. That is too bad. Would you like to make a statement?
Yes, it
job, and it got done because of you.
Oh, thank you, Franklin.
You were the one responsible.
Yeah, you know something, folks? That's the way to get a landlord to fix something. Okay, the landlord tries to evict you with no probable cause, and then because you have made a complaint to the White Plains Building Department, and then the landlord, because of this action to try to evict you on phony grounds, has to go to court, and the White Plains Building Department gets out its complaint to the landlord just before the landlord has to go to court Friday, and whoop, this stuff gets done Thursday. I'm going to show the rest of it to you in the cellar, the rest of the improvements, and the things that were missed. Fade out. Here we are in the basement, and Caesar put a drain up here. And then he cemented over the gutter, which the building department said was a tripping hazard. And he kept this board here, which I'm sure is not going to support 250-pound Tony Magnata, the code enforcement officer for the White Plains Building Department. But he put stuff, some kind of chemical, into the sump pump to take out the smell. However, that was not the complaint. The smell was coming from the sewer over here. And that hasn't been touched, and if this were smell-o-vision, you could smell it. There's no water in the cellar because we haven't had any rain, and the cellar is reasonably clear and clean. But I do want to show you these beautiful washers and this dryer. They are reliable. They work. Every time they work. Okay, you can see the junk, Caesar's junk, has been removed from the cellar. Complaint to the White Plains Building Department, fire hazard gun. But you can see that Mr. Porzio is still defiant of the White Plains Building Department, and he has not removed these two air conditioners, which I believe belong to the people in 3B, and these bicycles and the people in 3B, they should